everybody. Hi. I'm Kaylee, and I am an INFJ Sexual 9-Wing 1, and today I'm here with Hannah, who is a INFP Self-Preservation 4-Wing 3. That's a mouthful, but today we are going to be talking about some of the similarities and differences between us and our types, so that if you guys are kind of stuck between am I a 9, am I a 4, what am I, then we might be able to help you out a little bit with that.
We might. We'll see. We are helpful people though, so we will help you.
So today we just kind of came up with a little bit of a list, just a couple little things, and we'll just talk about it as we go through.
Sounds good.
All right, let's get into it.
Okay.
One of the biggest differences that Hannah and I have come up with between us is my contentment in life and being okay with how things are, and just seeing crappy things happen and be like, what can you do? That's pretty bad. And how does that make you feel?
I don't know what contentment is. I don't know how that feels. I don't know if I've ever experienced it. I go through my life seeing things that I don't like and getting really frustrated about them. When I am healthy, I try to fix them. And when I'm not healthy, I'm just like, oh,
They got me.
The world is horrible and I hate my life. But I just don't know how to just chill and be content. That is a massive thing with 4s. You can use it to your benefit and the benefit of the world, or you can use it to your detriment and sit around and do nothing and be sad. So, massive difference.
Yeah, another thing that we kind of noticed between us is 9s are doing types, and the sexual 9 looks like a 4. They look more like a 4 than the other two 9s do, but 9s in general can kind of look like 4s because they have that separation in their functions of doing separated from thinking and feeling. So 9s, you're either going to be doing or you're going to be thinking and feeling. And 4s, your process is feeling, thinking, then doing. So I notice whenever I feel overwhelmed or upset or just overall frustrated or overly emotional about something, I'm like, I just need to do something. And I do something and then I'm like, okay, let's get again. Like everything's fine. I'm like, oh my goodness, I can be the most like anxious or upset or angry about something, and then I'm like, I just need a vacuum. If I just sweep, if I go for a run, I get back and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm actually a-okay.
Yeah, I don't do that. I have about like 12 projects going at all times. Who knows if they will get finished? We don't know, and we don't know when that will be if they do get finished. But yeah, I have to actually talk myself into doing things. I mean, like, when I was doing a little bit of research about the 4, it was going and saying, yeah, when you actually do stuff, you feel better. And I was like,
That can't be it.
no, do stuff. What is that? But yeah, when you do actually go and work on a project to completion and then finish it, you feel really good about yourself because you completed something, rather than just being angsty and having all the feels and then thinking about your feels and then having more feels because you thought about them and cycling through it forever.
Yeah.
You can do stuff.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to think or feel. You can just do.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, a big difference between us is the angst. And I can be telling you like, yeah, this horrible thing happened in my life. It was awful. I really don't know what I'm going to do, but it was just really bad, but I'm all right now, and you'll be like, that was a horrible thing that happened. You can't just like, what? Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine now. And you're like, and so I think a big difference between us is we can both see something happen and our reaction is very different. And I'm like, that's bad. That makes me really sad.
But you can actually have a life afterwards.
Well, and I look like, yeah, and that's bad. And you're like, that's bad. That's bad. And that can be also, INFP versus INFJ, and, having that J or having that P, and you're a little bit more like, you're going to process through it, where I might just dismiss it. Yeah.
I think that you are definitely able to go and see things for what they are, and then I can whether it's there or not, I can go and add meaning to it. So you are, I would say, more objective in that way, where you can just go and see a thing. This is what it is. This is what it is. There's nothing more to it. And then I'm like, but it could be this thing, and he would be so sad, and the roadkill, and the squirrel was just trying to go feed its babies, and you're like, no, Hannah, the squirrel just got hit by a car. That's all that happened.
That
There's
doesn't
a
mean
million
you shouldn't
squirrels.
have kids. That just means, I made a 4 video. I just posted it today. I thought, I've noticed a lot of 4s add meaning to everything, even where it shouldn't be. And I gave an example of, it's nice to know that you don't go to Walmart because they're ruining the country, and I'm sorry that your parents got a divorce and that's why you can't go to Walmart, but I just met you on the bus today. I think that's over-exaggerating it sometimes, but that's a big difference between you and I. Is I'll see something and you'll see the same thing and you'll go like, oh my goodness, she did this, that, and the other. I need to go ask if she's okay. I need to make sure that they're fine. And I'm like, with my values as a 9, I go, it probably, if I was her, I'd want to be left alone. Just like, she probably doesn't want to be bothered. Come on. And
if we were talking about something to the people on YouTube watching this, and something bad happened, if we were, you would be much more calming about it, because you can go and evaluate it, and you can go and explain it in basic terms, and then I would go and be like, wait, but what does this mean? What does it really mean? And then blow something out of proportion that doesn't really even exist, when you can go and calm it down to where we can actually think about it.
And 4s definitely accelerate things, and 9s kind of decelerate them. I'm on like all the Facebook groups for all the Enneagram types, and I saw on the 4 group today, some girl, my boyfriend broke up with me, and he said it was because I was insecure. Is that even a real reason, or is he lying to me about it? And there was like 50 comments, and they're all, yes, it could be a real reason, and all this. And me as a 9, I look at it and I'm like, why does it matter if it's a real reason or not? First of all, you should know if you're insecure or not. Just pay attention. Am I insecure? Am I being bothered?
Are you asking this question on a group about if you are insecure or not? Maybe that means you are.
And then kind of my thought is, what are you supposed to do with that? Is that going to change the fact that you've broken up? No, it's not. Figuring out if you are insecure or not isn't going to change the fact that you got dumped. Okay, move on. Next. And that can sound harsh, but from my perspective, that's how I would more naturally be inclined to see things. Where as a 4, you might be a little bit more like, but am I insecure?
Am I really?
Is that why you broke up with me? Is that why?
What is the real reason?
Sometimes
there isn't a real reason, guys. Sometimes it is just what it is.
That is the real reason. Something boring.
Yes.
Some similarities between us where we could get confused for each other, especially me as a union 9. If I spend too much time with you, I'm going to be more and more like you. And
don't do that.
And that's what's good about 9s being friends with 4s, because 4s go, wait, that's my personality, get your own.
I want to know you. I don't want to know another me.
But
who wants more me's?
I think some similarities between us, we both really enjoy being out in nature and being out in, we get energized from the outside world, but we like to have our time by ourselves.
So to process all that happened in the outside world.
And I mean, we're both withdrawn types, but it's kind of a little bit not fair because we're also both introverts. So I knew a girl who was a 4, but she was an extrovert, and she was wild to say the least. She was wild, but I've known some extroverted 9s, and they do look different than we do, just like every person looks different from one another. But we both definitely do like going out in the outside world by ourselves. I think, let me go drive to this store by myself and do these things on my own and be a part of life by myself, on my own, and then kind of bring it back and okay, I need some rest. Or
Yes. Rest is good, guys. Don't go and overexert yourself. Otherwise, you'll just go crazy.
yeah, we don't need that.
We don't overexert ourselves, though. We don't do that.
I've never. Look, my sin is sloth. I always feel like I'm overexerting myself, so I get used to that feeling, but, and that's a big difference, is the sin for 4s is envy, and the sin for 9s is sloth. So that shows up very, very differently.
Yeah, I mean, when I've had so many experiences, like, even when I first met you, I was like, no, Kaylee's so pretty. No, pretty Kaylee's. Why is she so pretty? She's prettier than me. And I was so upset. And then I was like, no, Kaylee's great. Kaylee's awesome. Why am I going and being so fixated on this certain aspect about Kaylee that I can't just know Kaylee and be friends with Kaylee? Why am I holding myself back through that? I can go and get upset about so many things because I don't have it, and that I forget about the things that I do have. And whereas I think that you like the things that you do have, to where you don't go and check out other things too.
Yeah, I would be more like, I'm gonna drink the same ritualistic coffee every morning. This is my pattern every morning. This is what I do. And then when that's not there, it's like, what do I do? What do I do? I have to look, I'm a certified nutritional consultant, and I'm like, oatmeal for every meal? Sign me up. And that's
delicious.
It only takes
and
2 minutes to make. That's what I want. And when I really enjoy cooking, like, I really love it, but my sin is sloth. That is definitely a passion I fall into, is just like, but what if you didn't do it? Like, that sounds so much more appealing to not have to do that. And I'm like, but I want to. No, I don't really want to. So, like, you kind of see the dilemma of, I might want something, and I go, that seems like a lot of work to get it. I just, no point, not even gonna care about it. Whereas I think how that you can see that difference between us is, you're like, I might want that thing, I'll sacrifice to get that thing. It's like, what? Like, how do you know if you want it or not? You've never even had it before. And
yeah, it's because I don't have it. That's why I want it so much.
Yeah.
We have very different style, even though I'm wearing the bottom to her top right now. Actually, you actually challenged me 1 month because I was trying different things, and you challenged me 1 month to wear colors. That has to be a challenge for 4s is just so funny. Like, this is one of my favorite tops. I haven't worn it for a while. This is my favorite belt. It's black. This is my favorite top. It's black. I have so many black things. I love, like, black and neutral colors. I like them. I don't know. Half of my closet is black, guys. Every time I go out, I will be wearing at least one black thing. It's just what I am. The Man in Black, that Johnny Cash song, I relate to that song on a spiritual level, okay? But you told me, you're like, Hannah, wear colors. And I looked at what I was wearing that day. I was wearing a gray top, and then I was wearing black shoes, and I was wearing a, like, taupey colored skirt. And I was like, dang it, Kaylee, you're not even here, and you know you're right. But I was like, oh wait, look, my nails are green. My nails are green.
I was like,
yeah. And you're like, that doesn't
it doesn't count.
Sorry.
So, like,
yeah. So yeah, it actually took effort for me to wear colors, whereas you wear color all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, every person's different, everyone's style is different, but I think how that relates to you being a 4 is, you have your style, and your style is the one you found that you like, and you stick with it. And I do the same thing. Like, I pretty much wear, let's see, before I started really caring about clothes or anything, I would just wear camp t-shirts and old, like, t-shirts and stuff, and like,
she was adorable doing it,
and
guys.
like jean shorts and stuff, and that's what I wore every single day, no questions asked. And like, I knew what I was gonna wear, and it was the same outfit, just basically just different articles, same outfit. And then when I started caring about clothes a little bit more, I felt really anxious and really worried when I would wear something different, because I was like, it was very immature thought process for me as a 9, and I'm sure a lot of other 9s can relate to this, is I was like, people are going to be upset if they see me wearing something different. So I was like, people are going to be upset if they see that I'm wearing this different thing. And then at one point I just decided, you know what?
Who cares?
I have it.
Yep.
I'm going to wear it. And if they make fun of it, I don't care if they make fun of it. I just care if they get, like, if it hinders them in some way. I'm like, it's my skirt isn't going to bother them. Like, whatever. So I decided I would start wearing clothes that I liked. And when I did that, I decided I actually do care about what I'm wearing. And I pretty much changed my wardrobe completely. And now I wear the same outfit, different articles, just in, like, what I like. Or I wear the same, like, 10 different outfits on repeat. And so I think it's funny. My style is very, like, I would say it's unique.
I would say so.
I mean, I am, like, NF is individuality. Like, we both care about individuality. That's true. And, like, I am the 9 that looks like a 4, and I do want to know what I care about. Like, I want to figure that out. But it takes a little while for me to figure that out, where you might be able to just be like, no, this is what I care about. And I'm like, wait, what do I care about things? I pretty much make a formula and stick to it. I think it's funny, the reason why we care about what we were wearing and how our style changes is for different reasons.
And it's funny because I am sort of 9ish in that way, in that I found the thing that I like and I've stuck with it all this time.
As long as you're not a purple person, I'm sorry if one of you that's listening is a part of the whole purple people movement, but it's really okay if you get really mad. I'm sorry. Purple people scare me. So as long as you're not a purple person,
it's all good.
Find your formula and stick to it. Mysteriousness for the 4 and for the 9. I think 4s like to be mysterious. And they'll be mysterious and like, ooh, you don't really know me. You think you know me, but you don't really know me. And they kind of have this mysteriousness to them in new situations, where 9s kind of might seem mysterious, but really, if you start talking to them, you'll probably get to know them very quickly. Where 4 might be like, you haven't earned that information yet. 9 is like, what? You have to earn things from me? I'm soy doormat.
And it doesn't make any sense, because the 4 is the one who's wanting to be authentic, and be true to themselves and let people know the real them. But we still want to have that more
Secret
mysterious,
garden.
you know, like, we're secret. You don't have to know. You don't get to know.
Elitist.
And then we go and assume that on other people. Like, I can't even remember what we were talking about, but I was like, what do you think about this thing? And you said, I don't really care about it. I thought that you were going and having more to whatever it was. And you were like, no, it's just that. I like it for that reason. I'm like, no. Why do you really like it, though, Kaylee? And you're like, I like it because I like it.
Yeah,
and I was like,
fine. That's not possible.
That's not a thing. What? And I thought that you weren't answering the question. So I was like, okay, Kaylee just doesn't want to tell me. And I actually had to realize, no, Kaylee just likes it just because of this thing. But yeah, it was just so different for me, and that I thought that you were being mysterious because I was assuming mysteriousness upon you, and you're like,
mysterious upon you.
And you're just like, no, Hannah, it's just this thing. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
cannot relate.
A similarity between 9s and 4s is we both don't feel like we are really a part of the group a lot of times.
Yeah.
We're on the outside looking in. And I think it's for similar reasons of, I could never be like them, or I could never be good enough to be invited in or welcomed or wanted. Who am I to be wanted by them? And I think 4s and 9s both kind of feel that, like, on the outside looking in.
I agree. I think, and it's been different, at least through my life. I've gone and I was on the outside looking in. I was very shy, and I didn't really be a part of the group because I literally was on the outside of the group. Like, the group would be here and I would be standing over here. But now
Like, who's that girl crying over there in the corner?
Why is she crying? What's the real reason?
She's mysterious. She got a hair in her face.
She got a little whoop whoop. But yeah, and now I'm on the outside, but because I don't know, I've established myself as like an outside kind of person, but the kind of person where people are like, oh, well, what's her deal? You know what I mean? Where I
Wanting to be on the outside a little bit more.
Kind of, but
finding it comfortable to be on the outside?
I'm trying to explain sort of being like the center of attention, carrying the room, but you're still on the outside because you're not part of the group that is paying attention to the center of attention.
So kind of like an entertainer who is on stage and everyone gets to appreciate the beauty they're providing and they get to see what's going on, but the entertainer isn't a part of the group.
Yes, that... Kaylee knows words. I don't know words. But yeah, so I was on the outside of the group before because I was literally outside of it. And I was too scared to be a part of it. And now I'm on the outside because I'm up on the stage entertaining people or whatever it is that I'm doing, carrying the room, being charismatic, whatever I'm doing. But I'm still not part of the group.
Yeah.
I'm just not.
Yeah, and I think for me, feeling like I'm on the outside is more like, I'm not a social 9. I could almost be convinced that I was a social 9. And in social settings, I very much look like a social 9. And we had a Bible study at my house for a school semester, and I did a very good job of getting this group of friends and that group of friends, the other group of friends all together to join this thing, and we all sit together and we all do this thing together. And I was like, okay, I have 3 friends from this group, 5 friends from this group, and 10 friends from this other group, and I'm sitting with all of them, and I'm like, I don't really feel like I belong with any of them. And it was
But you brought them together, which is a good thing, but still, you felt like you were on the outside.
And I was like, here's all these people that I really care about, and I felt like, whether this sounds melodramatic or not, it's definitely true in the way I felt like my presence doesn't matter here. If somebody had a problem with another person in the group, I felt very much like it would have been better if I wouldn't have been a part of it. I shouldn't have been a part of it. I shouldn't have done this. I felt very problematic. And when I would feel problematic with things, I keep myself out of the situation. I feel like I'm going to cause problems or cause problems for a person, and I don't want to disturb the balance or disturb the peace, so I'm just gonna watch. And with that, I don't feel like I'm wanted or participating when that's not necessarily the case, and feeling like, they probably would like it better if I wasn't joining in with them. But that isn't rational when I think, oh, I invited them all here and they all came because I asked them to, and now I, for some reason, feel like they don't want me to be a part of it. What?
Yeah. So, we're here because of you. We're here because we like you. Yeah. We want you to be a part of it because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you.
Yeah. But I feel like
you are special.
My feeling like I'm on the outside looking in is sort of like, I'm gonna put myself on the outside a little bit, kind of feel like I already am, so I'm gonna put myself there and then hope to dissolve. I just want to dissolve, turn into a puddle and just dissolve away so that I can't cause anyone any problems. And that's a very unhealthy mindset. I don't think I really feel like that very much anymore, but that is the way that I experience feeling like I'm on the outside.
And then all the twos chase after you and like, oh no, come back.
And I'm like, oh no, I'm causing you problems. I'm sorry, don't feel bad.
We can learn a lot from each other. I mean, apparently 4s and 9s tend to be friends. And so if you are friend with a 9 as a 4, learn how to be mellow. Learn how to chill yourself. Learn how to, that not everything has to be dramatic. Not everything has to have some deeper meaning. Sometimes the meaning is just the meaning and you don't have to read into it.
Beauty and simplicity.
Yes. And being able to, I don't know, just be contented is a really, really big thing that I am working on. And I think knowing you has definitely helped me with that because I can actually see a contented person in action. In action,
yeah. And just the opposite is true for me. And I think it is paramount if you are trying to figure out if you're a 4 or a 9. This part is very important for you to understand. Is Hannah as a 4 is learning to be more content, and me as a 9, I'm learning to be less content. I'm naturally very content with the way things are, and don't necessarily feel like I need to be the one to change it. Maybe I'm unhappy, but I'm like, I'm waiting for the other person to take initiative. If I push my will, that's aggressive, that's bad. If you are trying to figure out, I'm a 4, I'm a 9, you know what, and you're one type and you mistype as the other, and you start working on, you know, I really feel like I need to be more this way, and you become more unhealthy because that's already your compulsion. I feel like I need to be more content even though I'm already sometimes too content. And if I work on that more, then I'm just going to get myself into more trouble. And seeing, oh, look, Hannah's good. She's passionate. She has a lot of drive. She can, you know, push problems out of her way to get to where she needs to be. Seeing that and saying, oh, here's someone that people like, is good to be around, and she does this thing that I'm scared of doing, has been really helpful for me as a 9. Conflict is a big difference between you and I. It kind of goes with the angst a little bit.
There's so much angst, guys. Am I good with conflict? I think you're better with conflict than I am.
We're good at having conflict.
Oh, I'm good at making conflict. Yeah.
I don't like conflict. I don't like having it. As soon as it arises, I quickly unravel it, wind it down, take care of it. Done. Everything's fine. And then Hannah.
Yeah. And it's weird because I don't like conflict in a way, but I like more having the things that I care about being done, you know? Like just last night, my mom eats cheese all the time, drinks so much dairy. And I'm like, Mom, this is bad for you. And my dad was telling me, he was talking about something else, but he was telling me, Hannah, you need to save your fights for the fights that actually matter. Yelling at Mom about how much milk she drinks really doesn't matter as much as going and trying to fix this other thing. And I'm like, but I love Mom and I want her to be healthy. And he's like, okay, well, does that really matter compared to this other thing? And I had to think about it. I was like, I mean, no, I guess not. But it's like,
but it's still important to you.
Yeah, it's still important to me. So it's just like, I would rather than going and just leaving Mom alone to eat her cheese that doesn't matter, I'm like, no, Mom, don't eat the cheese. And it's like, why am I doing that? Why am I causing more problems for myself? Whereas
taking on the responsibility to help someone out.
Yeah, in a way that they might not necessarily like. But yeah, that's something that I do. My dad is trying to teach me how to pick my battles because I have too many battles because I care about too many things. Apparently. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I know you and I were talking about 9s and 4s a long time ago, and Grace was talking about it too, and she said something about how, like, you know, a lot of 9s are okay with routine, and you're like, what? I'm okay with routine. What kind of routine? And she's like, more like I'll work a 9-to-5 office job, and it doesn't really matter what I do at my job because when I go home, I have a good life and everything's fine, whatever. And kind of like the movie Office Space, that guy who is a 9, but you know, talking about examples of some 9s, and you said, I can't imagine being like that. Oh my goodness, dying to myself? No. And
I felt bad about that later.
It's okay. But I know, like, I will snuff, kind of. I'll, like, you know, suffocate that little spark in me sometimes that's saying, like, you gotta fight about it, you know, or like, that makes you angry. Remember, 9s are anger types. You guys, you know, you're like, you can take pride in being unmovable. You can take pride in, you know, I'm never angry. I'm always zen. I'm always chilled out. I'm peaceful.
What is chill?
And, but it's like the sleeping volcano. You know, the people build a city around it because it's inactive. And then one day it erupts and everyone gets burned up and they go, oh my goodness, what happened?
Where did that come from?
Well, that's kind of the visual I have with 9s and their anger. If it's not taken care of, it's, you know, all these things are happening all the time, and you're always telling yourself it's not a big enough deal to bring it up, and it's not a big enough deal to bother this person with my opinion. It's not a big enough deal for me to do something about it. And then, you know, looking at the 4, and I go, you're gonna like yell at your mom over cheese. Why? Because you love her. And isn't loving someone a big enough reason to try to help them out? So
it's just it's just different.
You're different. But
we're different.
We are different.
And that's good.
I have to fight the voice in my head that's saying, just leave it be. You fight that voice that's saying, just leave it be. And you're like, I can't leave it be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I should do something about that. And the voice is like, just leave it be. And I'm like, you're right. You're right. You're good. One big difference. This could just be a fact that I grew up with a parent who's a 7 and a 2. So both my parents were optimists, and Hannah grew up with 2 parents that are both 6s, a 6-7 and a 6-5. And I very much feel like people have good intentions, and that if someone says something and they act on it a little bit, you know, they probably mean it. So why would someone pretend to be something they're not? And I think a lot of times, like, you know, if somebody says, hey, like, we're friends, this is great, I'm like, sure, we're friends, this is great. And it might take me a while to be like, wait a minute, you're always so horrible to me. Maybe this isn't what I thought it was.
Is this friendship?
Yeah, wait a minute. Whereas you and I, it took us a while to actually become friends because you were like, no, you hate me. And I'm like, why do you think I hate you? I thought I was nice to you. And you're like, can't be. You can't just like me.
You're lying.
That's impossible.
You're a liar.
I'm hateable. How could you? I'm like, what?
Yes. My parents and your parents raised us very differently. Like, my parents would go and say, if they hurt you, then they're done. They're done. They're
canceled.
They're canceled. They no longer exist. But it's like, that was the vibe. Like, if you're gonna fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on both of us, because you're a messed up person and I stayed here. That's why. There is no fool me twice. You will not make it that far.
No. Yeah, my parents are that way. But
yes.
I don't know if it's even parents. I mean, probably influence a little bit, but very much like in other people that I've seen that are like 4s and 9s. A lot of 9s are very much like, oh cool, there's a new person in my life. Guess they're in my life now. It's a cool new person. And that's kind of what it is. But a 4 is kind of like, I need to investigate this, and what do I think about this new person being here, and who are they really?
Them? Yes, yeah. Even if they're going and making it very obvious that you can trust them.
Too obvious.
Still, they care too much. What are they hiding?
They're trying to marry my brother. But
how dare they? But yes, that's definitely a thing. Like, we can be way too suspicious, I think, as 4s. At least I know I can. And we can go and take something that is this big and make it into something this big, so that we have our, what's the thing?
Yeah, well, you're looking for the thing and you find the thing because you're looking for it. Ooh, where are you reading the things? No, it's a phrase. Okay. Please edit this out. It's the thing where...
Self-fulfilling prophecy, because I can't remember what I'm actually thinking of.
Confirmation bias is future Hannah talking to past Hannah. Confirmation bias is what I was trying to say and trying to remember.
But where you go, you're looking for the thing, and you're going to find the thing because you were looking for it. So if one day Kaylee went and wasn't
texting you right back.
Yeah, texted me right back, or didn't seem like she wanted to go and get coffee, I'd be like, I knew she hated me. She always hated me, and she never wanted to be my friend because she's a liar. And
yeah, and I think,
can't you tell?
Yeah, and 9s do the opposite. They're like, hey, I mean, they've only blown me off a few times. I mean, they were just using me so they could get rides to, so they didn't have to use their gas money. But like, it's not that. It's because they wanted to spend time with me. So they take something this big and they're like, no, it's only this big, right? I shouldn't care about it so much. Why should I get my feelings hurt about it? Who am I to have feelings that get hurt? Stupid.
It's ridiculous.
But anyways, okay, so those are some differences between us. If you guys think of any other differences between 9s and 4s, be sure to comment them down below so that it might help somebody who's trying to decide whether you're a 9 or a 4. And if you are, you're probably a 9, just because 9s can see themselves in all the types and 4s don't really see themselves in any of the types, and then they're like, well, we have a spot for you, and then they go, okay,
I don't even fit there.
Yeah, that's literally so disgusting. I can't.
How dare you.
So just keep that in mind. You could be a 7, but just because you could doesn't mean it's likely. Okay guys, thank you for coming to a video. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you soon.
See you.
Bye.